Hey everybody, it's me, Super Paul Games. Welcome to a new Let's Play, Old Josiah. Caution, this game contains content not suitable for minors. Should I worry about the bear there? Is that a bad idea? How is everybody else doing? You'll always have me. Somewhere in the darkness of the circumpolar north, a man wrestles with a life unlived. Josiah prodded the embers with his last piece decent burnable firewood.
Now it's really burning.
The fire was casting light over the shimmering iridescent walls of the ice cave. It was creating an intricate dance between wavelengths of color. Unfortunately, it did nothing to calm Josiah's nerves. He was safely tucked far enough into the cave to be safe from the raging elements outside, but it could be days, maybe even weeks before the storm passed. It was his oppressor, his captor.
So this is it then?
Josiah had become so accustomed to speaking his thoughts aloud. But his voice, like everything else, felt as if it existed someplace hundreds of miles away. It made it hard to absorb the gravity of the situation. His body was devoid of any warmth in its chest. He was so disconnected from it, as if the factory inside him that created his life energy had simply frozen over. He held his makeshift fire poker to the flame, letting the flame slowly catch on. He was teasing the fire like it was a pet, dangling its treat, the slice of timber, just out of its reach. The flame's hunger grew. Josiah relinquished the branch to the fire. It was out of his hands now. Everything was out of his hands now. There was nothing left to do but close his eyes. And the world grew dark. Somehow, even though his body was exhausted, his brain was buzzing. He knew that once he fell asleep, there were only two possible outcomes. Either he would open his eyes to a cold world so completely devoid of light and warmth, or he wouldn't. At this point, he would prefer that over watching the fire dwindle away alongside him. The crackling of the flame somehow made Josiah feel anxious. The feeling became a lump in his stomach, keeping him awake. He thought for a moment how to punctuate his life. The breath he took to speak felt especially icy. His voice was filled with compassion, as if he were soothing a beloved. He listened to the sound of his own voice carefully, drinking up the weight of the two syllables.
Good night.
With that, he felt an even greater detachment from the world around him, the world he laid claim to. It felt as if the ground underneath him was slowly sinking in, swallowing him up and delivering him back to the womb of the world. Ah! A sound pierces through the dark. It's enough to instantly crash his ethereal plane back into reality. Someone was there. Hey, this reminds me of the ice cave on Hoth. Josiah's eyes shot open and his body tense. His first reflex was to stay quiet, as if he were the one guilty of trespassing. Whoa.
Hello?
Isn't that kind of cold for lady legs?
Is someone there?
Whoa! Knock on my door to my cave. He turned to the bend of the cave that led out to the entrance. He instantly locked eyes with a beautiful young woman who was gingerly peeking at him from around the corner. His eyes were silently tracing the few parts of her he could see, like the boobs. Her almond-shaped eyes painted with equal parts hazel and nervousness. You can see the nervousness right there. Her coal-black hair frozen and wild from the snow. How she not got frostbite on, like, everything? She was real. She was a real girl! Josiah's brain chugged and stuttered, trying to computate how to react. What? What? Josiah's a bear? Alright, I didn't see that coming.
Hello! Oh my god, a bear!
The girl filled her lungs to capacity. Holy shit, look at her boobs. Then let out a loose, drawn-out, ear-splitting shriek. Josiah hates this kind of reaction. Either that or he's bear-fapping. He can't help but fidget nervously. Maybe he has anxiety disorders. Don't be afraid of me! Or wait,
don't be afraid of me!
Josiah's words were failing to pierce through the wall of the screeching the girl was pushing towards him.
Please! Why are you talking? You're a bear! That's not right! It's not okay!
It's not right of you to tell him it's not okay to be him.
Not at all!
If willpower alone was capable of making something cease to exist, Josiah would be doomed. The girl broke down and started blubbering. She kept sputtering variations of the words, "Bears can't talk!
I'm not like other bears!"
The girl was obviously at her wits' ends. Despite her lively reaction, it was apparent that she was half frozen. Her tight-fitting, exposing garb was unfit for traveling the snowscape, even in the best of its conditions. She probably wouldn't have lasted another hour in the storm. The girl's muscles were tightened and shaking. Her body was in defense mode. The last of her adrenaline reserves must be the only thing keeping her standing. However, her flight or fight response kept her feet planted as opposed to retreating back into the death sentence awaiting outside. The soft light she had seen seeping from the mouth of the cave was merely a cruel trick. It was a barrel of fire. A trick to build up her hopes for safety and refuge, and then shatter them. The tense moment seemed to go on forever. Josiah can only grimace as the girl cries her eyes out. That's sad. He tries to move the interaction forward.
Do you smell updog? Hey, does it smell like updog in here to you?
Without even breaking from her sobbing, the girl lifts her hands up in confusion and frustration. It was as if she was holding out her open hands to show the world. She had nothing left. Her head slowly shook no, though the gesture was probably geared more towards her situation than Josiah's question. The joke had fallen apart, but he continued.
Not much. What's up with you?
He's trying his moves. The girl falls to her rear, like a marionette having its strings cut. I like that imagery. She doubles over, wrapping her arms around herself while sobbing.
I've had worse dates.
Josiah worries if she's in physical pain. However, she was finally starting to quiet down. It would seem the last of her reserves were give out. The sobbing became softer and softer.
Good night?
He doesn't know how to deal with women. Ellipses. It took the girl a moment to come back to her senses. Through the flames of the fire, she saw the obsidian eyes of the bear locked onto her. Josiah remained quiet. The girl had stirred and murmured in her sleep a few times, so he couldn't be sure if she was actually awake this time. He was looking into her reddened eyes and noticing the gears behind them starting to turn again. Her soft lips pulled back worriedly at the sight of Josiah, enough to show a flash of ivory. Was she about to start crying again? Damn, stop! Josiah already felt a headache coming on, thinking of those high-pitched squeals echoing in the chamber around them.
Josiah?
The young girl's voice trembled out.
Yeah, it's me. I'm Josiah.
Josiah had used the opportunity to calm his nerves and regain control of his volume. He got nervous talking to strangers, especially women. The girl moved a delicate hand to her eye, wiping at the dried, salty tears that adorned them. She took another moment to look at him and sniffled. She slowly began to nod her head as if the reality of the situation was caught in her throat.
I guess something could get caught in your throat.
And she was trying to force a swallow.
You can swallow it too if you'd like.
Emily.
No, my name's Josiah.
The way she cast out her name, it was as if it was no longer had any value. It was the thing which meant nothing anymore. Josiah quietly parroted her name under his breath.
Emily.
Creepy. Emily somberly nodded to confirm he had indeed heard correctly. Ellipses. Josiah couldn't think of what to say. They sat there in silence. Ellipses. Emily began to take in the rest of the cave. There was nothing noteworthy outside of a few icicles hanging from the ceiling and a path leading off into the darkness. The air was frozen and heavy, as were her boobs. It didn't help that every breath she drew, she felt like she was swallowing the musky earth scent of the bear. Hey, are you saying Josiah stinks?
Nice place? Thanks to you too.
He's gonna say you too. It's not her place. Boneheaded move, bear. He hoped she didn't hear his nervous stammering over the sound of the fire. Emily glanced back to the fire, then lowered her gaze and pressed her soft lips together.
Am I dead?
Yeah, you went to bear heaven. There was a pause. Josiah seemed to actually consider. He looks like he's yelling.
No! At least as long as I'm not dead also.
Though he continued to wonder. Why was this girl here? What was she doing out in the storm? Only a while ago he had redesigned his life, but now he could feel his blood moving again, mostly in his boner, hot red blood boner, moving through every vein of his body. Ellipses. Another moment passed. It seemed that Emily was all out of talk, and it was his turn. How about we ask if she's cold?
Are you cold? Hey, if you're cold?
Josiah slowed himself down, thinking it through and bolstering his courage.
Huh? You could sit on my dick? It's hairy.
Emily was looking at him.
Maybe we could, move closer together? I'm okay.
That was a fast response. Emily looked over the bear's ret fur, which was caked in cold mud. The smell of him was getting, from over here. Oh, the smell of him she was getting from over here was already plenty enough. She repeated,
I'm okay.
But bear fap.
No. No. But thank you, though.
He's freaking out.
That's what I like about you, Emily. You don't even know her. You just met. I like how you reject me. What? Who are you?
Emily seems to hesitate for a moment. She sits up and pulls her knees to her chest.
I don't really know what to say. I came here with my boyfriend. You came to my cave in the middle of nowhere, and you're not even wearing winter clothes? That doesn't really seem to make sense.
Josiah's heart cracked inaudibly. He fell in love with the only boobs he ever saw. He shrank away from the words. Despite this, he was still listening. Partially. Emily went on to explain that she was with a wildlife conservation group who was helping to investigate reports of poachers who were targeting beluga whales. Josiah thought about the whales. It'd been a while since the last time he had a good whale.
Warm winds caused the storm to shift. We were in the wide out open. Our only chance was to try to make it back.
The buttery, juicy, fat bean squeezed down his teeth. A whale. Yeah. The whale was the bomb. Josiah checked in on the story again, but the word boyfriend came up again. What's with that shit? He checked out again. Why do women feel the need to always go on about their boyfriends?
Then there was this horrible howling for hours?
He'd lost interest. Josiah started to think of ways to get her to stop talking.
Dragged away by wolves, absolutely powerless to stop them.
Emily paused for a moment, cupping her face in her hands as if to try to shield her mind's eye from what she was seeing. Josiah perked up a bit. He couldn't completely mask the tinge of hopefulness that colored his concern. He's like, maybe her boyfriend got eaten by wolves. That gives me a chance.
Yeah, your boyfriend, was he eaten by wolves?
Ellipses.
What? No, I was being the one dragged away by wolves. My boobs just kind of jump up in surprise at times. He just left me. He took off.
Emily combed her fingers into her hair as if giving herself a reassuring pet.
I managed to get loose by wriggling free of my jumpsuit, but...
You're still wearing that under that in this climate?
They surrounded me. I was only able to scare them off by... are you still together?
Alright, not the best move, Bear.
What? Are you and your boyfriend still together? Bear fap! Bear fap! What does I... No, I guess not.
Emily's incredulous expression couldn't suppress the soft smile Josiah had. Josiah, act like you at least give a shit about her story about almost getting killed by wolves before you ask that. Little patience.
I'm sorry you're sad. Hey, I know things are rough, but if you ever need anyone to talk to...
Emily smiles, even though it's a painfully manual smile. It's nice to see.
If you ever need anyone to talk to, you know, I'm here in my cave doing bear things. Thanks, that's, sweet. No problem, you know, you're actually pretty easy to talk to.
That's what I think when he looks like that. Emily stretches her smile more.
You're not like those other girls. You know the kind.
Are there a lot of bear, girls that walk into your cave there? Emily tilts her head, almost thought it said tits, tilts her head a bit. She's still keeping the pain smile up.
With those girls, it's always about what you can do for them, you know?
You're not good at listening. This woman had her boyfriend abandon her, wolves almost ate her, and you're just like,
yeah, that's a great story. Let me tell you about women problems I got.
Come on, Josiah. Emily noticed a distant look about Josiah.
They have to be in control of the whole situation. But they take any of the responsibility. It's not my job to take care of your whole life, lady, you know? But then when you finally lower your guard, and you give them the key to the kingdom of your heart, they just throw it all away, and then they're gone! Bear fap! That's what your trust is worth. So there you are, a shattered individual with nothing left, and what are you supposed to do?
Somebody has bear baggage.
Man up! That's what your reaction's supposed to be. Just forget the fact you're a living, breathing human being and let it go. I have feelings too. Human being?
Josiah looks to Emily across the flames, who can do nothing now to disguise how mortified she is. Josiah swings his head away to sulk in himself.
Feminism is a sham!
Alright, when I started this game, I never imagined a bear would be yelling feminism is a sham. Maybe you're not so good with girls, Josiah.
How do you feel about me?
Oh, that's so needy at this point!
How do you feel about me, huh?
A pause stretches on for a while. She barely knows you. Josiah is the one to break the quiet atmosphere.
Emily, I want to ask you something.
Don't ask her to marry you. Emily was holding her hands to the fire. The fire was still filling the cave with plenty of light, though the warmth left something to be desired.
Okay.
She responded without looking at Josiah. Josiah slowly laid on his side, holding his head up with a paw. Is that sexy bear pose? He was displaying his body enticingly towards Emily.
Well, what do you think about me?
Emily blinks a few times in thought. Her breath seems to get a little heavier.
You mean like, well...
She looked down at her hands and played with her fingers as she pondered how to answer.
I think you're nice. I mean, I was certain the moment I saw you that, well, you're going to eat me. I'm still not totally, grappling with everything that's transpired. It's been a long, strange day.
She punctuated the thought with a small smile. However, she looked to Josiah, and it was as she feared. He was fully expecting her to continue.
I mean, well, like I said, you're a real sweet guy, and, I'm glad we're friends. Friends?
Bear, you got friend zoned. You pushed it too fast. He repeated.
Friends?
Josiah shrunk away a bit.
I understand.
You just met her. What do you expect her to do? Marry you?
Josiah! Josiah, are you crying? I'm sorry. It's nothing you did. Oh, jeez. I just have, Arctic winter allergies, maybe?
Josiah's soft, whimpered sound sounded more like a huge beast in agony. Because in the end, that's what he was.
I'm just so tired of it always ending this way.
You just met her, dude. Maybe if you weren't so needy, it wouldn't end this way.
I am a bear fap! I don't understand! I'm a nice guy!
When you have to scream you're a nice guy, that's needy. No. If you're a nice person, people know it. You don't need to say it. Josiah hides his face in his paw, his voice now muffled.
I try so hard to be a better person.
Wait, you already said you're a nice person. Does that imply you're not a nice person? Every time his whimpers and cries seemed to let up, he would recall another tragic memory which would open the floodgates again. Emily was at a loss for words. There were 450 pounds of pathetic waste in front of her. But somehow...
I'm so tired of being alone. Why does everyone else get to have someone, but I don't?
Emily shifts her weight and sits on her knees, calmly and sympathetically folding her hands in her lap. She softly bites her bottom lip.
My whole stupid life's been a waste! Now I'm going to die a kissless virgin!
Wait, you what? Huh? What about the relationship baggage you were talking about earlier, dude?
I won't even have a chance to get to hold a girl!
You're coming across really needy. Suddenly the bear whipped around to glare at Emily. His voice boomed and echoed all through the corners of the cave.
I'm going to eat you!
Emily flinched. However, when she looked back to Josiah, it wasn't a look of intimidation, but of indignation. She knew it was an empty threat.
What? Seriously? You can't eat people just because they won't sleep with you?
Josiah let his failure sink in for a moment before he returned to his pity party.
Bear fap! Why can't I ever have anything I want?
Oh my god, you're so needy.
You women are all the same.
God, he's like a 3-year-old.
You always talk about how you want a nice guy, then you treat us like dirt.
She might want a nice guy. I don't think she wants a mentally unstable bear.
Just once, huh? Just once. Just once, why can't someone care about me?
Awkward ellipses. Josiah turned into a corner of the cave and hung his head. He just couldn't stop the tears. That feeling was back. Josiah knew this feeling. He was dying. He could feel the earth sinking beneath him. Ellipses. But again, something reached out to him. The skin on his back flinched and rustled his fur as a small cold hand was gently placed on him.
Okay, Josiah. Let's do it.
Whoa, pity works? I've got a new way to hit on women. Why won't you ever sleep with me? Okay, just shut up. A score! Josiah looked behind him, but he was only able to catch a glimpse of determined look in the woman's eyes. Only able to catch a glimpse of the determined look in the woman's eye. I don't know, could she even take a bear boner? It was the look of a person ready to roll up their sleeves and get a dirty job over with. He's gonna do it? He's gonna take pity sex? Josiah's mouth moved like a fish gasping for air as the tiny girl turned him around and pushed his back against the wall. Still not completely able to properly react, Josiah left his hands floating off to the other side as the girl straddled her small frame against him.
What?
Her legs wrapped around his hips, locked on while she sat in his lap, her body pressed tight against his. He could feel the warmth, the kind that only another person could give, start to seep through his cold and matted fur. She's fucking a bear she just met who is needy. They're gonna have weird kids. But why? Shut up and enjoy it. He was looking to her for answers, but she kept her face buried against his chest. She stayed silent, arms and legs wrapped around him like some sort of parasitic xenomorph. But in an endearing way. Josiah had never had someone hold on to him like this before. They had only met today, but it felt like she was trying to keep him here with all her strength. That world could never pull them apart. Josiah's heart was beating out of his chest. With each heavy breath he took, Emily's form rose and fell against him. Her very scent was lifting his mind to new heights. She smelled like a combination of sweat, fresh laundry, and an inexplicable sweet scent that only the body of a woman could produce. If it's a fishy vagina, would he like that because he likes fish? The scent seeped into the deepest part of Josiah's being. Now his fur smells like vagina. It was euphoria-inducing. Emily's fingers pulled at his back.
It's okay, Josiah. I'll teach you.
She's gonna teach him how to get a boner?
What?
Her face finally lifts to meet his.
You can't learn unless someone teaches you.
Emily's hand reaches up and lovingly holds Josiah's head.
Oh, jeez.
As Emily draws her face to his, Josiah actually has to consciously not pull away. Is this really happening? Emily's lips connect to Josiah's. Now her tongue is in his mouth. Watch out for the teeth. A girl's tongue? It's so soft. But before he can figure out what to do on his end, she breaks away, moving her mouth to his ear. Her hot breath floods his rounded, fluffy ear.
We're gonna do it, even if I can't fit it in. I'll use my mouth. Oh, God! What?
Emily lunged forward, suddenly latching her teeth onto his chest. Holy what? Josiah shrieks and convulses beneath the girl's small frame. Look at his mouth. He's like, ah!
Aye! What are you doing?
Every muscle in Josiah's body went tense from the pain. Emily spoke without releasing the bear. There was a hint of sadism to her muffled voice.
It's been a long day, Josiah. I've been abandoned, chewed on, frozen, hit on by a polar bear. Don't blame me if it's all made me a little unhinged. I think I'm bleeding. Just shut up and let me blow off some steam, okay?
Try as he might, Josiah couldn't think clearly. Emily's injection of pleasure and pain washed over him. Josiah's will was finally given in. He melted like butter under the dominance of the woman whose entire body weight was a quarter of his own. I think he's getting raped. Emily leaned back. She was looking at Josiah like he was a piece of cheesecake. That sounds good. I want cheesecake. She flashed her ivory fangs in a grin. As she fiddled with her bra, she let out a breathy, absent-minded chuckle. Josiah's eyes flickered between Emily's eyes, teeth, and her booby's body. His mouth hung open in shock and awe. Eyes, teeth, body. Eyes, teeth, body. Her pale skin was bathed in an orange light of the fire. So smooth! Emily's demeanor was a combination of hot and cold, like geothermal heat melting snow in a hot spring. Pressure was building. Josiah had lost all ability for metaphors. Emily spoke in a seductive hiss.
So, what do you think? Do you like it, Josiah? Do you want to see them?
Yeah! This was all too much for Josiah. It had never been like this before. He'd probably never even seen a girl before. Not in the simulations he ran through his mind. Isn't the girl supposed to just kind of lay there while the guy does the work? He had very low expectations. And what was with the way she was talking? Isn't that too lewd? He had to be the one in charge. He had to fight back. He didn't say women's rights or whatever was a sham. Or feminism. But his eyes couldn't break away from Emily's chest. He was boobatized as she fiddled with the hook of her brassiere. Josiah's heart skipped a beat. This was it. The big reveal.
I'm getting a bare erection!
Whoever wrote bare erection, you are my hero for the day. That is the best. This feeling that he was feeling now, it was the opposite. It was the opposite of feeling of dying. Even though it made his body and mind weak, it was still the polar opposite. Oh, polar. This time he was going up. He's getting it up. Again, something was there to snap him out of it. Josiah's father? Son, you in here? Is that you?
No, Dad! No! No, Dad!
Both bodies broke apart and whipped their full attention to the disruption. I hope he doesn't participate in it. Another polar bear had arrived from the dark corridor of the cave. Josiah screeches in humiliation.
No, Dad! No! I'm with a girl!
You got a mustache? Oh my! Emily's jaws completely dropped. She's absolutely dumbfounded. With a small shriek, she realized she left herself exposed. She covered herself with her arm. Josiah goes limp and slumps to the side. His stomach is a bottomless pit. Josiah, you have a friend and it's a girl? Hello there, young lady. I'm Josiah's father.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Emily blushed wildly, but seems to be trying to keep an air of nonchalance. The older bear seems oblivious to what he's walked in on, but is beaming with bear pride. Oh, hold on, let me get Mother. Oh, no. Mother! Our son actually likes girls. Come here, Josiah's friend is here. It's a girl. An excited coo can be heard coming from behind the father bear. Mother was on the way.
Dang it, Dad! You and that novelty mustache!
Oh, come on, son. I look good. Just a little bit of humoro classico.
This isn't happening, no.
Josiah felt detached yet again, but this time it was in no direction.
This isn't real.
What's that, son? Aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?
I'm Emily?
It's so nice to meet you, Emily. Oh, son, I'm so happy. And so relieved. You always seem so lonely, son. You're always by yourself. And, well, you've been here. Your mother and I were kind of starting to think that, we're starting to think you might be gay. Awkward silence. I wake up calmly, looking at the ceiling. My body is cold but soaked in sweat. That same damn dream again. That's the third time this month. My name is Josiah. I'm 32. I'm a freelance photographer. I'm married, no kids yet, but we're trying. I think I'll take a shower. That tends to calm my nerves. I feel grungy with all this sweat on me anyway. My shifting out of bed causes my wife to pull closer to me.
Josiah, what's wrong?
She's still half asleep.
It's nothing, honey. I I just had that dream again. Which one? the one where my dad is still alive.
That's a good curveball. Emily's eyes slowly open. She wraps an arm around me to get leverage and pushes herself against me. I can feel her soft, warm breasts pressing against my arm through her thin silk negligee.
Oh, sweetie, don't feel lonely. You have me. You'll always have me.
That was amazing. I certainly did not see where that was going at all. I love the ending where he's still a bear, or the awkward point where his parents come in. Oh, and also the delicious part where she gets up on him. I'd like to thank you all for watching. No polar bears were harmed during the making of this game. I will try and put a link to this in the description if I think about it. This was a blast. This was very well done. I love the artwork. I enjoyed the music. I don't know if I had the music up high enough. Always got to be careful on that. Aww. And he's a photographer. Oh, look, there's a honey pot. Like he's like Winnie the Pooh. So thanks for watching, everybody.